Smash Bros. News is coming, and I'm so certain of it, I'm trying to put this video out as quick as I can before Sakurai invalidates everything I say. Again. So everyone is out here speculating new characters, and there are some people who are just saying everything on 4chan is a leak. But I'm here to bring you some good old-fashioned speculation. By that, I mean I know absolutely nothing. Thanks for watching. But I want to talk about Echo Fighters. I already made a video a while back talking about them, and the ones I thought were most likely, well, I actually wasn't wrong this time. You know, it felt pretty good. We had Dark Samus, we had Chrom, and then I even think I predicted Isabelle and Octoling, and Isabelle just became her own character. But when it comes to Echo Fighters, I feel like one name stands amongst everyone else. And that is Ken from Street Fighter. I feel like if you want to say everyone is here and then include Echo Fighters, it'd just be a poor play to not at least attempt to get Ken in the game. And sure, there have been several images on 4chan that indicate that he was leaked, but you know, you really can't trust anything. But this one looks super convincing, and that's only because his foot is clipping through the ground, which is exactly how it would clip in Smash. So those had phenomenal attention to detail, and I can only hope I'm right on this, but I've been speculating Ken since the start. Well, obviously I haven't. That's a lie, because I didn't include it in my last video, but maybe I was just waiting for this one. Ken is the Echo Fighter. He is not just an Echo Fighter. He is not one of the Echo Fighters. He's not a Daisy. He's not Dark Samus. He is the Echo Fighter. He is the first notable Echo Fighter in all of gaming history. Because back then, you had Ryu and you had Ken. Better yet, you had American Ryu. American Ken. American Ken. Oh my god, I just realized that. Wow, I'm just kind of mind blown after that. It's like when you realize Shoryuken just Ryu Ken. It's kind of like that all over again. Anyways, it's not so much that Ryu needs an Echo Fighter, it's just that Ken is worthy to be an Echo Fighter. And they'd probably make it more or less the exact same characters. They'd probably do some fighting game wumbo jumbo that I wouldn't understand, but from a surface level, I would just expect them to make sure you can a multi-hit, and then change up Tatsu to be less like Ryu, more like Ken. And then they could even go the route to make Ken represent Street Fighter V and have Ryu represent Street Fighter IV. And by that, I just mean replace Focus with, well, anything. Yeah, they'd be giving him a move that's new to Smash Bros. Entirely, but I feel like it still makes sense. They could just give him Focus. I could just be making things up, which I mean, that's all this video is. So I think Ken has a pretty good chance. He is the only character in my guaranteed list right now. Like, I think Ken is guaranteed in Smash Bros. And then let's talk about someone who I once thought was guaranteed. Shadow the Hedgehog. I have to say this is probably the second most likely Echo Fighter, but I only have to withdraw my guaranteed status from him because so much time has passed and we don't have information yet. Like 3 months ago, I felt better about it, but now we only have a few characters that could possibly be announced, and that list is getting slimmer and slimmer. Later in this video, I'm going to mention a whole lot more characters who have a lot less of a chance than Shadow. But, again, just to recap what I said about Shadow in the past, I think he would realistically be nearly identical to Sonic. And even though that doesn't match how Shadow is in the rest of the games, Dark Samus plays nothing like Dark Samus would in the games. Chrom doesn't really match Roy's moveset perfectly. And Dark Pit doesn't even use his signature weapon in his moveset. Just having a unique moveset, it doesn't make you immune from being an Echo Fighter. I mean, you get to be included in the game no matter what, so that's a positive. But I do think Shadow could go a few routes. If they really want to ruin the game, they could give him Witch Time as Chaos Control, because that's the last thing anybody wants. But I just imagine he would just have a new running animation and then teleport. That's kind of all I assume. And the more I thought about this next choice, the more it started to make sense. I want to talk about Dixie Kong, because you could just kind of give Dixie everything Diddy has, but, you know, the hair is so iconic. We got to do something with the ponytail. And I thought about it, and then it just clicked. You know how Donkey Kong's up B, he spins around? Just give Donkey Kong up B to Dixie, and everything makes sense. I really don't have much to elaborate on that, but Dixie was cut from Brawl, or was rumored to be cut from Brawl, because we never really know for sure how those things work. But Dixie would kind of give us the perfect grouping of Donkey Kong characters for Ultimate. You know, we have DK, Diddy, Dixie, and King K. Rool. That's kind of all we need. Well, we could use one more. Give me Funky Kong. Just for one reason, I just want to be able to slap this sticker on and say, ha, look, Funky mode in Ultimate. But honestly, Funky would just kind of be a Donkey Kong clone, and instead of up B, he could do something with his surfboard, and instead of any move, he could just kind of do something with his surfboard. Funky doesn't really have a whole lot of moves that we could pull from. He just has a whole lot of personality from honestly just being named Funky Kong. But even though Funky would be a hilarious addition, I don't think it would be as good as Dixie. I think we need Dixie way before Funky Kong. And then, I don't really want to assume that there would be more Fire Emblem characters because we only have 6 Echo Fighters announced, and 2 of them, 33% of those are Fire Emblem characters. So I don't really want to assume there'd be more Fire Emblem characters because I think it's unlikely at this point. And I know a lot of people have been tossing names around like Hector, but I think we're done. I think Chrom was just the cherry on top of the Fire Emblem cake, because I'm going to find it very hard to believe they're going to put another one in. And if they do, let's just, can we bring her back from the dead? Is that possible? What about Medusa? We have to assume that Kid Icarus on the Switch is coming soon, maybe? In at least a couple of years. I have no idea. I can only hope it would come out eventually. And Medusa is a pretty easy villain to recognize. And, people kind of love adding villains to the game. And she's a big part of Kid Icarus. So imagine if you just put her over Palutena, but instead of all of her glowy and holy powers, you just kind of had this dark purple shadows that's kind of around Ganon and Mewtwo's attacks. Like if you did that onto her, she wouldn't be necessarily the most interesting character, but just visually, it'd be a stunning thing to have in Smash Ultimate. And that kind of concludes my list of characters who I think have a chance. But there are several other characters I would like to talk about as just potential characters because, well, I didn't think Daisy was going to get in Smash. I didn't think Dark Samus was going to be in Smash. And I certainly didn't expect Richter and Simon Belmont to be in Smash, which, by the way, those are the newcomers I've been the most excited for. I am ecstatic about that. But let's say, what if we wanted to ruin the game more? That's right, more Bayonetta. And to be fair, there are only 2 characters you could pull from to have a Bayonetta echo, but realistically, she is the most likely one, which Bayonetta already has an ult for her in Smash 4, and because Bayonetta's skin is being brought back in Ultimate, it really does make me think that she is not going to be in the game, because, well, Ike had a skin that represented Chrom, and it was removed in Ultimate, and then Chrom was announced as a fighter. And Samus had a Dark Samus skin that, again, was removed in Ultimate because Dark Samus was revealed as a fighter. But then it doesn't really say anything about Rose, so I think that's pretty far-fetched because honestly she kind of looks too much like Bayonetta to be included. So I don't think Bayonetta's getting an echo. But what about Yoshi? This is kind of disgusting because I really don't want Birdo, but there is a chance that Birdo could be in the game and that scares me. Because just look at Birdo and look at that schnoz that Birdo has. If Birdo was a Yoshi echo, you'd have to see Egglay. You'd have to see Birdo suck some people up and turn them into eggs. And for some reason, I'd rather see Yoshi vor them up than to see them go through whatever that thing is that Birdo has. So I don't want Birdo. Let's not do that. And I've been thinking about this one a lot because when it comes to the Star Fox crew, there's a good amount of characters you could throw in. Obviously, Crystal has already been confirmed as an assist trophy, so she's out of the question. But what about Peppy and Slippy? More importantly, Slippy. You could kind of make Slippy like this reject between Fox and Falco's. Because, Chrom is Roy with like Ike up B, which is honestly the worst part of Ike, let's be real. And you could turn Slippy into like this weird third Spacey. Well, I guess you got Wolf, so like this weird stepchild Spacey. I do enough research, and by that I mean I go through enough forums to see what people say about stuff like this. And I've seen a lot of people throw out ideas for Miss Pac-Man. I'm just going to be honest and say I'd be really upset if Miss Pac-Man was a skin, just because I don't feel like she adds as much. Simply because they just look too much alike outside of lipstick and a bow. Because, I mean, if they made it a skin like Olimar and Alf, do that, but alright, whatever. That's fine, put them in if you want, I don't care. And then I even see people talking about Ness and Ninten as if the series hasn't been dead forever. The Mother series only thrives because Smash Bros. Exists, and one of its games hasn't even been ported to America yet. But I played the fan translation of Mother 3, and I will say I absolutely love the game. I liked it way more than Earthbound or Mother 2, so what about Mother 1 or Earthbound 0? Ninten. I think it's unlikely, but all they'd really have to do is just swap out the characters in the final Smash, and that'd be enough to make all the Mother fans go nuts. And even though I think Shadow is going to be a Sonic clone, I think it'd be really funny and really insulting and just a little heartbreaking if they put in Metal Sonic or Classic Sonic. I don't think they would because they look too much alike, which is kind of my Miss Pac-Man argument, but there are so many Shadow fans out there and it'd just be kind of funny, but pretty mean, but kind of funny. And then Empa. This name has been thrown around a whole lot, specifically Empa from Hyrule Warriors, and I'll be honest, I think Empa is deserving of her own spot, but it's kind of unlikely. The thing about Empa that I think is worth speaking about is that we haven't had a new Zelda character since Melee. We did have Toon Link and Brawl, but that's more of just kind of an updated Young Link. I mean, people kind of flame me for that, but it's kind of true. We had Zelda, Sheik, Ganon, Young Link, and Melee, then we had Toon Link and Brawl. We haven't gotten a Zelda character who isn't a Link since Melee. So that's why I'm big on the Empa train, because I think Zelda deserves it. The whole series is one of Nintendo's staples, and we haven't had any representatives since Melee who, aren't Link. But if they just give us an Echo for Empa, I'd be okay with it, because, we don't really have many archetypes that fit the Sheik thing. We kind of have Greninja, but he's just kind of a worse way of doing it, so either make Greninja better or put Empa in. Do one of those two. I mean, if you played a Link Between Worlds, you could even put Ravio in as a Toon Link clone, or even Hilda as a Zelda clone. I don't really think those would happen, but it's possible. I just think Zelda needs more representation. We got Fire Emblem with 8 characters, and yeah, I know I wanted Lyn, but 8 is just, it's a lot. It's so much. So with that being said, I just want to get this video out as soon as possible before, Nintendo announces all the remaining fighters and invalidates this video entirely. Because let me tell you one thing, I'm never right when it comes to this kind of stuff. So if you want to see more wrong opinions, be sure to subscribe, come back soon, and just leave me to my own misery.